So the revolutionary government of Mali just scored one of the greatest victory in modern African history. On the early morning of April 25th, somewhat of 12,000 international sponsored mercenary terrorist group, including Al Qaeda, the so called Azawad Liberation Movement, made a blitzkrieg attack in multiple cities in Mali, in multiple regions. Cities like cities such as Kidal, Bamako, the capital, Kati, I think Gao, and so forth. So this was a well coordinated attack, well funded, well directed, and of course, like we said, well coordinated. This was a blitzkrieg attack. Like many of the wars that have been going on recently, everything is done through blitzkrieg, especially the aggressor side, which should give us a reason or give us a idea of who coordinated this attack, who funded this attack, and who's behind this attack. We know the philosophy that many imperialist country operates on: blitzkrieg attack, decapitation attack, as we see in the current war, especially in this year: fast, quick, and hope for collapse of their target. They were looking for a scenario that happened in Syria. And we've said this before: Mali is not Syria. Mali is a popular revolutionary government which is backed by the people. The army is in charge, the people's army is in charge, farmer. Faced with this blitzkrieg asymmetric attack on multiple fronts, of course, the Malian army was stunned. Its allies were stunned, the AES and their international partners. The attack was contained fairly quickly in a few hours, and this is how you can tell that this attack failed. There were condemnation by even some Western countries where they condemned the attack. So you can tell within a few hours or within a day this was failed. This was contained, of course, but still the fighting, the battlefield was not shaped as yet by the Malian armed force and its allies. And this attack consisted of 12,000 men. Those 12,000 men is even more than some African countries, even in the region, possesses. So for Mali to contain and defeat this attack, which their main goal was to create a Syria type scenario where through decapitation and this blitzkrieg attack, the government will collapse, the people will be paralyzed, institution will be taken over, and this Al Qaeda international backed mercenaries will take power in Bamako. And with media manipulation to a lot of Western international media, this psychological warfare will be the nail in the coffin. The government is collapsed, the government has collapsed, so on and so forth. But in within a few hours, like we said, thankfully this attack was thwarted. The destabilization attempt was thwarted. We're a week in this conflict now, and the battlefield is being shaped. Farmer, the Malian armed forces, has taken the initiative. All the terrorists have been cleared out of the south. So let's say the south, southern cities like Kati, Bamako, even Gao and Manenka, those cities in the east. The terrorists have suffered huge defeat. The videos and the images online is very horrifying. I wouldn't advise anybody with, if you don't have a strong stomach, I don't advise you to go and look at that. But what has happened in the past week, you can see that the narratives have shifted. It was said that the Russians, the Africa Corps, has abandoned Mali. Now they are complaining that the Africa Corps is helping Mali. But this great victory that was won by Mali, no other country outside of the AES can withstand an attack of this magnitude and this scale at this current time. Whether it's I don't care if it's Nigeria, any of these countries that on paper they have this massive army. This was a army that came into Mali on multiple fronts, multiple axes. A blitzkrieg attack was launched. And for Mali to react in the way it did to thwart not only this destabilization attempt, but to contain the situation and won those battles, it is unbelievable. And this shows that these generals that are in power, the Malian armed forces, didn't come to joke. They lived up to the task, and what Mali did, it's a great turning point in this new struggle for liberation around the world, especially, and in this region and in Africa. No country out of the Alliance of Sahel state can thwart these attacks. 12,000 men is not a small army. The question is, who fund these people, who train them, equip them? Because they came in with Stinger missiles to target aircraft like helicopters. They came in with um, even jamming equipment. It is being reported, and there's a lot of report that there are a lot of European mercenaries within these international sponsors terrorist group. So you can see this is a international coordinated attack to collapse the state of Mali, and of course the people of Mali came out, rally behind their government and the military. But there's a lot of propaganda in the media, and personally, I don't focus on the propaganda in the media. I've learned for a long time that the propaganda is, of course, it is an important part, but for somebody like me who understand the propaganda and what the aim is, I really don't focus on it too much. But there's a lot of propaganda that the AES, the Alliance of Sahel States, countries like the country, Burkina Faso and Mali, did not help Mali, in the first few hours and the first few days. Now we see that the Alliance of Sahel States have really stepped up. The city of Kati, I think, is definitely under the control of the Alliance of Sahel State Unified Force, so that will free up the Malian armed force, the regular forces, but also the Alliance of Sahel States Air Force is doing its work out in Kidal, in Menenka, all over Mali to decimate these terrorists. And these international sponsored mercenaries are trying to regroup, but they cannot regroup. They even trying to retreat, and they have been caught in a cauldron. When the Malian armed force and its allies withdrew from the city or the town of Kidal, this was seen as a great victory for these terrorist group. But they fell into the trap of the Malian army. They could have held the city, I believe. They could have held the city and repel this attack. But it's best to withdraw. And you can see they're learning from the Russian strategy of withdrawing. You have a huge territory, withdraw to a more strategically viable place, regroup, rearm, and then you have the enemy surrounded. This reminds me of the invasion of Kursk in Russia. Of course, the Ukrainian army militarily they moved in, but then they don't have a supply line. You can move in a blitzkrieg attack. You can move in very fast. But the thing, can you maintain that supply line, and can you hold that territory? So this is what has happened to these mercenaries. And also the Malian army is so strategic, and their allies is that they're targeting these commandos and these uh, terrorist leaders to cause disarray in their ranks. We heard that the terrorists tried to um, create a command center in Kidal that was targeted right away. All those commanders were neutralized. Today, the 1st of May, that I'm making this video, of course, more information might come out. But there was one so-called Azawad commander that was trying to flee to Mauritania, with about 200 of his followers, and they were taken out. They were put to rest. So every day there's about 250 just from this mopping up, and a lot of mopping up are going on in the cities that they attack in the south. But the only stronghold they have, which is a cauldron, again, a cauldron is that you withdraw and then you surround the army, the enemy cauldron can be closed, fully closed, where they have no escape, but also you can leave room for them to escape. And while they escape, you target them, you take them out. And this is what has happened in Kidal and other region. The situation, of course, is under control, as they said, by the Malian government. Life has returned to normal in these cities that were attacked. And yes, the unified force of the AES is doing its job throughout Mali, the Malian armed forces and everything. So, like I said, this is one of the greatest. This is probably the greatest victory by an African country in the past. Let's say, let's give them the past 70 years since the 1960s. No African countries have been able to withstand anything like this. None. Without, especially without these people, the fire, the arsonist pretending to be a firefighter to come and put it out. So going forward, this will only make the people of Mali and the Alliance of Sahel state stronger. I believe this event is one of the major. This is, of course, this intensity of this combat, this fight for sovereignty, of reach another level. But it's like forging a knife or a katana or something. You have to put it under heat, and then strike it for it to get stronger. So that is what happened. The armed forces of Mali was tested to unimaginary limits, or to the force that it came on, for it to withstand and withheld. The defense minister was taken out. But the Malian armed forces managed to maintain chain of command. This, like I said, this was a decapitation strike. They target even the president, but everybody stayed together. All the propagandas were coming up. People were screaming, "Hey, Mali is done!" But we see what happened. Like what I said, when things like this happen, psychological warfare online will be intense. So it doesn't make sense for you to get upset and send your blood pressure high. But the president came out and he spoke to the nation, spoke in the local language and also in French. And of course, he reassured the population that the situation is under control. Of course, this is going to be a tough fight. This is like an army invaded. It's not a regular army. Mind you, if this was a foreign army that came in the way these people, they would have been defeated already. But this was asymmetric warfare, with international backing. So the defense minister was buried, Sadio Kamara, and my condolence to the people of Mali and the region, of course. This guy is, you can tell, he was a genius. The way he organized the Malian armed force, it is his work that allowed Mali to be standing today. The way he armed the Malian armed force, also the work he have done in the fight against international back terrorism in the region. And I believe the Malian armed forces and the AES armed forces will learn and adapt to this new type of warfare that is being employed or deployed in Africa against these sovereignist governments. And I believe this will hasten the AES countries to move towards a federation and also to build their capacity much faster, much rapidly, because they've seen what these people can do. And I said this, and I said it, as I said earlier, no country, no other country in the region outside of Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger can withstand a blitzkrieg attack by the of this magnitude. They wouldn't last 2 hours. And that's what these people were hoping for, the collapse of the government. And we've said it before, Mali is not Syria. Bashar, Bashar al-Assad did not came from the rank and file of the people and the military. Bashar al-Assad inherited power. His military did not fight. The current president of Mali, Burkina Faso, Niger, been through many battles fighting for their country, even outside of their country. So they know how not to panic. They will not panic. The government of Mali is intact. The people are rally. The people are ready to be mobilized. But I think they have the situation under control. The battlefield is being properly shaped. All these terrorists are caught in cauldrons. You know, the sweeping continues to clear out the remnants of these terrorists, these mercenaries, and we will see where this go. But this will only strengthen the alliance of Sahel state. And of course, the French are in big panic. The French are in big panic. The currency is coming, whether you like it or not. The new currency is coming. The new development, new projects are coming. The military will only get stronger. So you've thrown what you can. The next time it won't be even as easy as what you got. You've got, it's like being in a boxing match, and before before the referee said go, you know, one opponent make a swing and hit you. Of course, you'll be stunned, but you have to get your defense up and, you know, maybe stumble a little bit, but he will not catch you again. So the Alliance of Sahel States dealt a good. The Alliance of Sahel States, Mali and the Alliance of Sahel States, backed by their international partners, just, you know, gave a good demonstration of what's to come in Africa and where the strength of this military is going. Bravo to the people of Mali. Bravo to the Alliance of Sahel State. Bravo to the people who stood firm and stood behind their government. Bravo to all the soldiers. Because for these regions to destabilize, it will be catastrophic for the region, for Africa, for the world. So thank you again. Thank you for watching this video, and we will see you in the next one.